What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Richard Prophet, aka the Bronx Broker, aka Mr. Nice Watch. And welcome back to the Prophet Realty Group channel, where we talk about everything and anything related to real estate. Now, my favorite thing to do here on the channel is viewer emails. I love when you guys send me in emails and you ask for my opinion on stuff. And you guys come up with great topics that we can cover. That's without a doubt my favorite part of doing this channel. Now, that being said, a great email has come in from my girl Tatiana, and I wanted to cover it. I want to make a video out of it, put it out, because maybe it can help Tatiana and everybody else. So let's jump right into it. Now, Tatiana writes, good morning, sir. This is probably the most informal way of reaching out to someone. However, I'm pretty untraditional. LOL. I watch many of your YouTube videos while working my graveyard shift. Thank you. Recently, and I appreciate how straightforward you are and the fact that you focus on the Bronx. My name is Tatiana, and I'm 30 years old from the Bronx. I have a really good job working for the government, Homeland Security. Nice. But I'd like to use my creative thinking and persuasive abilities in order to gain financial freedom and steady cash flow. I've been reading tons of material and listening to podcasts on selling, buy and hold, flipping, wholesaling, etc. I am interested in both becoming a real estate agent in New York City and a real estate investor, investing in other states while living in this city. I'd like to know, what is your personal favorite school that you recommend for the 75-hour course? Also, do you sponsor as well? What does it take to work with you? And what's your opinion on doing real estate part-time while working a full-time job? Thank you. Have a blessed day. Wow, Tatiana. Let me just say first, thank you. Thank you for all you do for us, keeping us safe. Thank you for that. And wow, this is crazy because this is my actual story. You've touched on my actual story. For those of you that don't know, way back in the day when before I was in real estate, I was working for the city. I had two jobs actually. I was working for the city, and I was working in the private sector. So, I was doing maybe 80, 85, 90 hours a week. And, I wanted to buy a house. The only thing I knew was I wanted to buy a house. And I would speak to people about it. And, everybody's always got something to say. And, people would tell me, oh, the best time to buy a house was 20 years ago. And, let me just say, there's always two the best times to buy a house. One was always 20 years ago, and the other best time to buy a house is right now, right? I ran into a lot of naysayers, and everybody, oh, you don't buy a house now, don't do this, don't do that, whatever. The only thing I knew was I wanted to buy a house, right? So I would go around to these nice neighborhoods, and there was nothing in my price range. There was nothing I could afford. So I was working in around St. Barnabas Hospital, around the St. Barnabas Hospital area, and I had come across a house directly across the street from St. Barnabas. Two-family house, little attached house on both sides, two-family house. It had some tenants in it, and the price was $166,000. And and I didn't love the house. I wasn't in love with the house. I wasn't in love with the neighborhood. Back then, that neighborhood was really rough. It was kind of a bad neighborhood. And, I didn't love the house, but the only thing I knew was that I could afford the down payment. The house was only $166,000. So I could afford the down payment, and I knew that I really wanted to buy a house, any house, really. And so I went. I got a few people that I knew, a few friends of mine came, drove them by, saw the house. They hated the house, don't buy it, whatever. People would tell me, don't buy the house. So it kind of scared me a little bit. And then one day I was actually working with a guy from my job that was like, you know what? If you like the house, if you want the house, just close your eyes and buy it, and don't worry about it. It'll all turn out okay in the end. And I never forgot that guy's advice. And to this day, me and him remain friends. He was a partner of mine when I was working. His name is James. James, what's up? I know you're watching. And and because of him, I closed my eyes. I went ahead with the house, and I bought that house for $166,000. I was never able to move in because it was a tenant situation. The house had some leaks, it had some problems or whatever. So I ended up selling the house 3 years later. So maybe the naysayers were right? They told me don't buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it. So until I sold the house. So I bought it for $166,000. I sold it 3 years later for $475,000. $475,000. I made a $300,000 profit in 3 years without really doing anything. So I remember getting that check and looking at it and thinking, my goodness, this is all the money in the world. So I deposited that check, and I just knew that this was for me. I bought another house. After that, I bought another house. I quit my job. I linked up with a mortgage banker. We actually became good friends. We're still good friends to this day. And the leash was off. We were running. The Bronx was our playground. We ended up buying 2 houses a year, every year, for years. This was just what I did. So don't let anybody or anyone tell you, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, significant other, whoever, tell you what you're planning for you and your family is not possible. It is possible. It is possible. And you want to do all the right things. You're reading, you're educating yourself. You already have a job that pays the bills, right? So a lot of people get into real estate first year, whatever, they're not making any money. They quit right away because, you have bills. No matter who you are, you have bills coming in. It takes a little while to build some momentum up in real estate. So people don't understand that. They think they're going to jump into real estate and be selling houses in 2 weeks. So, people quit because they don't have something to pay the bills with. You in a perfect situation. You're working a job that's going to pay your bills while you're learning. It's going to pay you to learn a business. So, you get your license, you're working your job, and, you get some of these. You get some cards printed up, and boom, you're running. You're an advantage over a lot of people. You have a big pool of potential clients. Everybody at your job needs a realtor, needs a real estate agent. People are moving. People want to buy a house. They want to sell a house. They want to rent an apartment. They want to start a little business, whatever. Everybody you're going to know in life is going to need a real estate agent, and you can be that agent. And, once you start rolling, the sky's the limit. You keep your job, you build up some momentum, you start investing in real estate, pick up a couple pieces of property. Now, you say here that you would like to be, you would like to flip or whatever, that's okay, but you have to figure out what is it you want from real estate. You want to just build your capital, or do you want continuous cash flow? If you want cash flow, what you want to do is buy and hold and rent, get that cash flow coming in every month. And as far as investing in other states, why? You're from the Bronx. The Bronx is on fire right now. And you're going to see the appreciation that we're going to have in properties in the Bronx in the next 5 years. You might be thinking, oh, it's cheaper for me to get involved in other states. Okay, but who's going to manage it for you, right? You're going to pay some managing agents to take. They're going to take a piece, and who knows whether they're being truthful. You know, here in the Bronx is where your house is going to appreciate in value. And, you know, your first house, you're going to pay what, 3.5% down? You know, $300,000 house, maybe what, $10,000, $11,000? A couple deals, you got that money. Your tax return, you put a money, you can get a gift from a family member. Boom, you're ready to go. And you're going to see the appreciation here. In the next 5 years in the Bronx is going to be like it was back in, you know, back in the early 2000s. The rise is going to be, you know, phenomenal. People are going to really be making a lot of money on their property in the Bronx in the next 5 years. And you heard that here from me. And should you quit your job? No, keep your job until you start building some momentum up in your business, in your real estate business. And, you know, there's going to come a time where dealing with your properties and dealing with your clients is going to cost you too much money to go to work at your job. And that at that time, that's going to be something that you're going to have to think about that then. But for now, get your license, keep your job, get your cars printed up, and let's go, Tatiana. Let's get this money. You got a good head on your shoulders, you know, and, you know, it's people like you. It's young, hungry entrepreneurs like yourself that push the world forward. And it's people like you that, you know, can reach back and take young people from your community, people you know, whatever, and say, look where I started, or look where I am now, look what I've done, you know, and you know, it's my job to send the elevator back down, to pass it forward. It's your job to do the same. So I'm Richard Profit. This is the Profit Realty Group channel, and this has been viewer emails. If you have a question that you need answered ASAP by the Bronx Broker, send your email over to askprafit@profitrealtygroup.com, and you know, we'll get into it. And let's get back and get this money. I'll make you famous, baby. Tatiana, keep it up. You're on the right track.